is more on the southwestern side, and our Titan indicator is showing some rotation with that cell right now, and pretty bright rotation showing up. I'm going to zoom in a little bit farther for us so we have an idea of some of the towns and areas that are a little bit closer to the circulation. Again, that line, these hatch lines tell us that a spotter has spotted something on radar, or not on radar, but actually with their eyes, and so there's a good chance that we may have a spin up at this time. So let's see what Fort Worth is saying. We have spotters on the ground there in Henderson County, and with what they're saying is that it's the structural of the low-level winds have, let's see, just bear with me a little bit here as I kind of search through some of the warnings that are being disseminated from the National Weather Service from Fort Worth, because this is going to be the Fort Worth office that's issuing that tornado warning for Van Zandt and for Henderson County. Shreveport would be next to take that over if it were to stay strong enough to move into Smith County, and I'm sure they're watching that very carefully. It looks, all right, nothing really, they do have the line on, and this says just radar indicated, okay, so it doesn't seem to be that there's somebody that has spotted anything, so it's interesting that we have, unless that was the national, that might have been the severe thunderstorm warning with those hatched lines there with tornado possible, and now they've gone ahead and elevated that up to a tornado warning. That's Henderson and Van Zandt County once again. I'm going to turn off the warnings here and just kind of search some of the winds for us, because what we need to know is what are the inbound winds toward the Fort Worth radar. They're right now at about 50 miles an hour, and then what are they going away from the Fort Worth radar? That's going to be the area in red. So we've got 50, we add that up right in here, so just west of Murchison. Ooh, man, gate-to-gate shear is 89 miles an hour, so that would be an EF1 tornado if this is indeed on the ground. So west of Murchison currently is where you need to be. You need to shelter at Murchison, you need to shelter at Brownsboro, you need to shelter in Athens. I would go ahead and take the shelter. Pickens, right now that storm just passed over Pickens. But we've got Edom, Brownsboro, and Leagueville all in line for this storm. And again, it is tornado warned currently with a pretty good rotation coming in with that southwest of Murchison. These storms are moving roughly at about 25 miles an hour. You can see as we switch and we get closer to a different radar site, oftentimes what will happen is it will switch the different colors out. So let's track this to the southeast at about 27 miles an hour. Again, Murchison, 9:18. So our time right now is about 9 o'clock. So we have 18 minutes. We're giving you 18 minutes lead time in the Murchison area for you to get to your shelter. Leagueville, 9:32. Brownsboro, 9:36, and Moore Station at 9:45. Chandler, 9:53. Also looks like a flash flood warning was just issued on that same, or going to be issued now for a different portion or a different part of the cell. Also inside this storm, we're going to find some large hailstones. Usually this is what we find. We find some larger hailstones, and you've got some golf ball sized hail also just west of Murchison and also just west of Brownsboro with the cell dropping southeastward. That's headed also, if you look at Coffee City is inside that polygon. So if you live in Coffee City, please head to your safe place right now. I'm going to go back to our velocity. This seems to be the best indicator we can see is checking those winds out. And right there, you can see just how much wind we have. Again, we had an 89 mile an hour wind signature coming out of that. So let's get you down to Murchison in a few minutes. It looks like Leagueville all the way to Berryville by 10:20 this evening as that storm dives off to the southeast, roughly at about 25 to 30 miles an hour. So the tornado warning is in effect for Henderson and Van Zandt, but you can see how close it is to Smith County currently. So that's why we have to break into programming, how to bring everybody up to date. This is sort of a serious situation with all the people down in the area working to clean up after last night's storm. Then you have this storm right now that has just popped up. It was kind of a stronger thunderstorm here just a little while ago. So let me go back to our Titan indicator, or we'll go back to our radar, and let me go back to the wall here and point some things out for you. All right, so the hail core is right here. Here's our area of circulation we pointed out just west of Murchison. So please, if you live in Murchison, this is what you need to do. There's the estimated rainfall with the flash flooding that's also being called out in parts of Van Zandt County and back toward, I believe, Hunt County. So tornado warning till 9:30. There's Ben Wheeler. Ben Wheeler's just outside of the tornado warning, but here's that circulation. There's Opelika, Moore Station, Chandler, all within that tornado warning. So these are all places that you need to get to your shelter. This is going to be a view up from the north. We're looking along Broadway northward. We'll look back here for the lightning. It should be quite the lightning show at this time. But remember, here are the things you need to do. Head to the lowest level of your house or apartment with that tornado warning in place. Room in the center of that house or apartment is best with no windows. You want to avoid windows. If windows break, that debris can shatter and it can fly into your room. Mobile homes, you can evacuate those and find a sturdier structure. Not if the storm's bearing down on you. If you have time, if you have 15, 20 minutes and you can get to a sturdier structure, someone that you know, then that's the best thing to do at this time. Also, take with you your CBS19 app or a weather radio. We need you to have more than one way to get warnings. And also, if you need, have your friends or your family call you. But back here on our radar, we are scanning and watching that rotation inside that storm. And a very powerful thunderstorm right now, and a rotation that would be indicative perhaps of a tornado on the ground. We had a stronger tornado up toward Bowie County just a little bit earlier in the evening, so this is not the first tornado warning we've had in East Texas tonight. And by the way, the tornado that we had yesterday in Coffee City and then over into Smith, on the Smith County side of the line before weekend, that was the first tornado that we've had in East Texas since last June when we had the Wascom tornado on that real late night in Wascom. All right, so looking inside this cell, here's a couple of things of note. There is some massive hail in this cell. That's the other part of the storm that we've got to care about. So big hail. Tornado impact is at least indicated on the lower end by our Titan indicator, and our Titan indicator just simply looks at all the parameters of the storm and then it assigns a value 1 to 10 to the threat level of the storm. And so when we look at it, it looks like the wind impact is sort of on the lower end right now. The hail impact right now is probably the biggest impact along with the flooding impact. But just noting that things can change dramatically in a storm like this. So what we need you to do is, again, please don't go outside and look at the storm. Just go to your shelter and stay there and wait till the threat passes. So that's the best way to treat these storms like this. All right, let's take a look at what we're seeing inside the storm. We're going to go into our velocity, and we're looking for the reds and the greens. This is probably the better view. This is going to be getting closer to the Shreveport, or this is the Fort Worth area because it's heading back toward Fort Worth. The red is going away. Just popped up to an orange, so it got a little bit stronger. Brownsboro, New York, you need to be in your safe place. Looks like the north side of Athens. Please, if you live in Athens, make sure that you head to your safe place also. Noonday, I'd be getting ready to head to my safe place because this cell could easily move into those areas. Here would be the winds that we're looking at, probably the inflow here down on this side. And also you may be getting a little bit of what we call an artifact down toward Athens where it looks like it's a hook echo. But remember, there is a lot of hail south of Martinsville. There's big hail inside this storm right now. Looking like it's golf ball sized, maybe a little bit larger than that. But our Titan indicator just came up on that rotation. It tightened that rotation up just enough and a little bit more. So some big time concerns with this storm right now as it moves farther into Henderson County and gets a little bit closer. It looks like it's moving out of Van Zandt County at this time, becoming more of a threat for eastern parts of Henderson County. So let's find that circulation, and I'm going to track off of the circulation that our Titan indicator gives us. And our general motion here tonight has been about 25 to 30 miles an hour. So you're looking generally Murchison 922, Opelika 931, Brownsboro 939. So it's still those same three towns that we've talked about, and also Moore Station at about 951, and then Chandler about 10 o'clock this evening. Henderson, Van Zandt, I think they just updated the warning here till 9:30, so that's going to continue. But I don't see a whole lot of organization right now. It may have just dropped a little bit. It could be reorganizing, but it does look like the rotation is weakened just slightly here. So again, tornadoes last night, tornado a couple nights ago up in Franklin County. The National Weather Service was sending a crew up there today to look to see if they had any damage up there. I've not heard back on the Franklin County portion of the storm. But this one is, again, just west of Smith County. So if you live in Smith County and just turning us on, think about where you're going to go. We want you to make sure that you have a safe place to go to. If you live in a mobile home, now is the time in Smith County to go to your friends, go to family, go to a place that you know has a sturdier structure and stay there until the threat of the storm passes. You do not want to be out in your car driving when this goes by. We watched a story earlier today from down toward Waco. A young man caught in his car, all kinds of cuts, and tornadoes can throw cars a quarter of a mile without any problem. I mean, it just happens that way. So they're not heavy enough for a tornado not to throw them. But we were sampling some winds inside that a little bit earlier that were almost up to 90 miles an hour. I don't see that type of signature right now, at least on the radar. But again, we're looking at the Shreveport radar. It's going to be the closest one that we move to. So that's going away, and then the greens would be the inbound. So I'm going to switch it back here and see if we can find maybe just a little bit of a better view if we can head back to the Fort Worth site here. And that does give us it gives us just a little better view, a little better picture of those bright greens and those bright reds against each other. So you can see it's just north of Athens currently and just to the southwest of Opelika. That does look like it's a fairly significant circulation at this time. One of the stronger circulations that we've seen in the last few days. But again, not reading anything. I'm checking out with the National Weather Service. They have storm spotters. They're the one out of Fort Worth. They issued the warning, so sometimes they can get updates on how they're feeling about the storm. And it looks like they've got a lot of other severe thunderstorms going on at this time. So it does look like they are still saying radar indicated rotation with some ping pong ball sized hail, and that was a little bit ago. And that was at about 10 minutes ago. They were reporting it near Curtis Creek State Park, or 10 miles north of Athens, moving southeast at 30 miles an hour. And it does look like it is still in that area, in that Curtis Creek State Park area. Let me zoom in. It does look like we even have a little bit of a stronger rotation to the east of Pickens. So please, if you live in Murchison, please head to your safe place right now. If you live in Athens, please head to your safe place right now. If you live anywhere along Highway 19, that circulation is right over top currently. Van Zandt County has been dropped from the tornado warning. So if you live in Van Zandt County and you're watching us, you can come out of your safe place. You are okay. But this is the area of most concern right now. Highway 19, Pickens, between Pickens and Murchison. All right, so here's Murchison over here. And so if we look at Murchison, that's Highway 31. That circulation is approaching Highway 31 right now. And it will continue moving, but the cell itself is moving more southeasterly. So if that cell continues to move more southeasterly, that would keep it, well, the circulation's coming right over top Murchison, so there is no guarantees of where that thing could wobble one way or the other. So best to stay in your safe place. All right, another reminder too, you can always take your radio with you, and then you can listen to us on one of our Alpha Media radio partners. Of course, that's going to be Jack FM 106.5. It'll also, The Ranch, you can listen to us on The Ranch at 104.1 or Kicks 105.7, and La Invasora at 96.7. And whenever we get done with this storm, then we'll, of course, we go back to regular programming. We're going to stay with this. You can see that's Murchison. There's Highway 19. It's right over Highway 19. Please be in your shelter. It's past sunset again. That always makes these so much more dangerous at this time. When you can get visuals on it during the daytime, you know, you can confirm that. One of the things a lot of folks want to do is have that visual confirmation, right? We come on, or your weather radio goes off and it says there's a tornado warning in your area, or your phone goes off and says there's a tornado warning in your area. Well, the natural inclination for all of us is to go outside and get visual confirmation. And studies have been done where a lot of folks want to do that. They want to visually see that. It's probably not the safest thing to do, but just take our word for it that this is a pretty strong circulation just to the northwest of Murchison back toward Pickens. And a new thunderstorm warning has just been issued, which we'll try to update here in just a second. It's probably going to be for Smith County. But Murchison, we're going to wait for one more scan before we double check on where that severe thunderstorm warning can be. We're in a severe thunderstorm watch until 10 o'clock, but this is just proof that oftentimes you can have a severe thunderstorm. You don't have to have a tornado watch. you can have a severe thunderstorm watch. And when you do, you can sometimes have a tornado warning within that severe thunderstorm watch. All you have to do is have the right things come together, and if those ingredients can mix perfectly, then you can get a tornado warning. This does look like one, again, like I've said, one of the stronger rotations that we've picked up on radar here so far this spring. A lot of times we'll hit a tornado warning and we'll have these muddled rotations, very tough to pick out. This is one of the stronger ones that I've seen so far this spring. So this one needs to be taken seriously for the folks in Henderson County. And if you're watching from Murchison, I know a lot of folks do watch over in Murchison and Brownsboro and Leagueville. Okay, so looks like it's Purtis State Creek or State Park, Purtis Creek State Park. That area it seems to be where that storm is closest to right now. It doesn't seem to be moving very fast. It seems to have slowed down just a little bit. So while it slows down and we wait for a new scan, and I'll go back to it, that new severe thunderstorm warning just came out. That's going to be for Cherokee and Smith County. So if you live in Cherokee and Smith County, that severe thunderstorm warning is going to include the cities of Bullard and Tyler. So if you live in Tyler, and watch, I'm going to turn back on the lightning, and you're going to see how much lightning we have with this. So this is going to be a loud, raucous storm that comes in. And also note that you've got the dashed lines on the cell at this time. So right in here, so this means tornado possible, okay? So it's called a tornado tag. It doesn't mean that you're going to have one, but they put that tag on it, and that is because you've got this part of that cell that's already creating a tornado warning. So imagine if that part of that cell just moves out into the severe thunderstorm warned area, then you've got a tornado warning that would continue into Smith County. So this is sort of a preliminary precautionary move by the National Weather Service, giving you sort of a heads up into Smith County that there is indeed a chance that you could have a tornado warning coming into even northern parts of Cherokee County. Jacksonville's just outside of it, but Tyler, White House, Flint, Bullard, Teaselsville, you're all inside of that severe thunderstorm warning. And so you're going to be up next if they extend that tornado warning downstream just a little bit. But we're still about 15 minutes away from that occurring. So you've got time. But now would be the time to gather your things and head to your safe place while that storm continues to move southeastward. Brownsboro, it's right on your doorstep at this time, and also at Moore Station. So I'm going to zoom back out. I want to give you a good path here, at least on the cell that could be producing some big time hail coming into Tyler and Smith County this evening. Again, moving to the east, southeast, roughly 30 miles an hour. So where's that going to put it in the next few minutes or so? Well, Lindale at 9:21. Tyler in about 18 minutes from now. Moving into Tyler. Frankston about 9:44. White House 10 o'clock. Mount Selman 10:14. Overton 10:40. New London at 10:48. Little different movement on this cell tonight. The one from Henderson County that came into southwestern Smith County yesterday moved more from the west, southwest to the northeast. This one's actually moving from the northwest to the southeast just a little bit more. And again, moving at 30 miles an hour. So Lindale, Tyler, Frankston, White House, Mount Selman, Overton, and several other towns. Coffee City would be included in that again. Frankston is right there. You're going to have Flint. You're also going to have Bullard. Troop would be included inside of this polygon. So all of those areas, northern parts of Cherokee County, just outside. Jacksonville, I would just kind of be ready in case there's just a little bit of a wobble farther to the southeast on this cell. But currently, this is the worst part of the cell. Can you see that hail core? I'm going to go back and check the hail on that because I think the hail has been, hey Sarah, meteorologist Sarah Blue is here tonight. So Sarah, we want to check the hail core here and see what we've got inside that storm. We had some reports of it maybe up to 3-inch hail with our Titan indicator. And with that Titan indicator indicating that there would be such large hail, but that would tell us that we have a strong updraft within the cell for sure. And look at that rotation. So that rotation is still pretty stout. It's been there for a while like that. So it's just kind of slowed down a little bit as it's moved to the east-southeast. But the newest rotation there just weakened a little bit. So I'm just working off of that one map, just go back and forth between the palettes and we should be fine. I can fast forward to a look outside and then some tornado safety tips. So I'll work. If you see me change it, that's what I'm doing. Okay, yeah, so we're gonna zoom in down here because we wanna check out the velocity one more time on that cell as it moves just north. It's just north of Athens, but again, it's really moving. It says 30 miles an hour, at least the National Weather Service and the radar indicates that it's moving that fast. But boy, it seems like it's just come to a crawl here recently. So, but the lightning strikes have been in the order of about 450 to 500 in the last 15 minutes or so. And that, again, severe thunderstorm warning is going to be out ahead of that for Smith County and Cherokee County, and that goes until 10:15. So that's for the next hour or so. So we've got a really long forewarned severe thunderstorm warning right now into Smith County with that tornado warning still ongoing for Henderson County. So, and again, Moore Station was in that path of that storm. I believe at this time it's probably just passing right over top of Murchison. Brownsboro is real close, so Brownsboro, please, I hope you're in your safe place. I hope you're listening to us on our CBS19.TV mobile app. I hope you're also maybe watching us through that mobile app or listening to our simulcast coverage on one of our radio partners. Doing that instead of going outside to see, because you can't at this time of the night, 9:30, it's so tough to see what's occurring right now. But this cell got out in its own environment. You know how humid it is out there. It's just feeding off of all of that moisture, and it's by itself. There were some other showers and thunderstorms around it that just did not cluster up with it and become a line. And anytime you get a cell that looks by itself, feeding off of all that humidity and all that warmth and all that energy today. The sun was out and we were very close to 90 degrees today, so we had all of that energy to work with. And so the fact that we had all of that just to begin with, then you had that thunderstorm. Can we take that lightning off, Sarah, so I can look at what's going on underneath all there it is. All right, and I believe right in here is where we're still looking at that circulation. So it's still there, and it's still just, it does not look as strong as it was, and that's certainly good news. It looks like it has come down quite a bit in the last couple of scans, but we'll wait for another scan here and see what happens with it. But maybe let's track from here on out to the southeast. It's moving at 30 miles an hour. Brownsboro is still off to the northwest. Okay, so it just maybe tightening up a little bit there in that last scan. At 30 miles an hour, it would be moving into noonday in Bullard by about 10 o'clock if that circulation maintains its current strength. But that Titan indicator just went from yellow to orange. So what does that orange mean? So it's scaled 1 to 10, right? That orange is when we start to get to about a 5 to a 7. If it goes above a 7, it'll turn red. If it gets to that 10, well, then it's going to flip over, and you're going to see a little tornado indicator. And then we start going through the colors of the tornado vortex signature, or the TVS, or the hook echo. And we'll go through that, and you'll see the different levels if we got that far. Hopefully we don't, because we don't need anything like that, because then we can start talking about some damage. But if you do have some storm anxiety, just relax. We're going to be okay. As long as we're just radar indicated, we don't have any sightings confirmed on the ground, everything's okay. Staying in the shelter, remaining calm is fine. Now is not the time to leave your shelter if you are in Murchison or in Brownsboro. So Sarah, let's zoom down just a little bit and kind of get in closer. So that's right over top Murchison. So it's moved ever so slightly. There's Leagueville. Baxter is just to the south, but it's inside. We always say respect the polygon. So Baxter is inside that polygon, so you need to be in your safe place because of that. Moore Station is also in that polygon in Brownsboro. So not exactly sure of the exact movement it's going to take. That's why we have what we call the cone here. So we start at that apex, and then it can widen out for that margin of error as it moves also to the southeast. The polygon itself is drawn to where anywhere inside that storm could deviate. That deviation of the movement of the storm could go a little bit farther to the southeast. This looks to be like a right-hand turner. When they start to turn more to the right, that means that they are a stronger supercell. When they're a stronger supercell, of course, they have the possibility or capability of producing a tornado. And at this time, Sarah, let's check out that the Titan indicator and just see how strong we are with that spin there. And you probably have to turn off the tornado warning to get there. All right, so the max hail, the hail size a few minutes ago, maybe about 10 minutes ago, was around a 3, was around golf ball, almost up to baseball size. So it's come down a lot. It says it's moving at 12 miles an hour, so the whole cell itself is slowed down tremendously. Remember, we were talking about it moving at 30 miles an hour, so its forward speed is slowing down. Probability that it has hail inside that cell is 100%. The tornado impact has come down, but there may be a lot of wind. So it could be a situation like yesterday where you get that quick spin up and then it starts to sort of just exhaust or gas itself out. It's thrown a lot of downdraft energy, a lot of downburst winds are being generated by the storm. There may be a dominant rear flank to the storm that takes over where the winds just are starting to blow down on the backside of it, and that just kind of sucks off all of the inflow that it can get, and the storm can weaken. Now, it may also mean that it's also recycling. Another thing to worry about here is this flooding impact, currently sitting at a 6. So a lot of heavy rain inside that cell also. So we got heavy rain, we have wind, we have hail, and we have that tornado warning on that cell. And that goes again till 9:30 if you're just joining us. Murchison, I hope you are in your safe place right now. Brownsboro, you should be there. Moore Station, you should also be there. And Coffee City. And I know a lot of folks at Coffee City are maybe still trying to clean up or trying to finish up some of the last things that they were working on today. Well, it's time to stop and it's time to get to your safe place as soon as you can. LaRue also, you should think about sheltering in place. That storm system is just off to your northwest. Not far enough for safety, that's for sure. You need to just kind of hang out in your safe place till that storm passes. So, Sarah, anything from the National Weather Service? I know you were checking with them. I was looking earlier. There's a lot of information coming out from Fort Worth and not so much for Shreveport yet, but I'm sure they're keeping an eye on the storm.
Hey Brett, yeah, I haven't seen anything from the National Weather Service just quite yet. So far they are focused mainly on some storms that are outside of our area right now, but as far as the updates go, it looks like the latest trend is there's no indication that they will be going ahead and canceling that warning. Otherwise, we are still seeing that circulation directly over Murchison at the moment. It appears still decently formed, so if you are in that polygon in Murchison, Athens, Moore Station, or Brownsboro, make sure that you are staying in your safe place. You want to stay there until the tornado warning is dropped or the storm passes by. Just like Brett was saying, because this is a nighttime storm, we can't necessarily get a solid glimpse of it if you go outside. So please stay indoors. That's what's going to keep you the safest. As far as updates from the National Weather Service, I haven't seen any just quite yet indicating what they plan to do with this warning right now. But again, still some rotation toward Murchison. We also have a severe thunderstorm warning that goes outside of that red polygon, so that includes Edom and out toward noonday, and Smith County is currently under a severe thunderstorm warning, and that does have a tornado possible tag. So make sure that you're staying up to date with the forecast, and of course, as long as there's a tornado warning in place, we will be staying on air with you, and we're going to keep you updated every step of the way. So I'm not seeing any updates from the National Weather Service just yet, but based off of our latest scan, it does look like that might be tightening up just a little bit. So south of Murchison and toward Baxter, just to the east of Athens, that's where we're seeing that circulation based off the latest scan. It does look like the winds are moving pretty quickly, so make sure that you are staying in your safe place. Again, what you need to do is, if you haven't already, go to the lowest level of the building, find the most interior room. Usually a bathroom or a closet is best for that. That way you can, but the most important thing is that you are putting as many walls between you and the outside as possible. I'm going to go ahead and toss things back over to our chief meteorologist, Brett Anthony. Brett, what are you seeing out there?
Well, I try to get us back over to the Fort Worth site since it's a little bit closer, and it gives us a little better definition of what we're seeing inside that storm. There's certainly still a circulation there that would keep the tornado warning going for just a little bit longer. There are also some other severe thunderstorm warnings that we have in place, but the most, I guess, prominent one would be the Tyler Whitehouse and Selman Troop severe thunderstorm warning. Let's leave this for just a second and go back to reflectivity, because I think what you're going to see here is you don't get a lot of, this is not where the circulation is. That's interesting. Again, probably a hail artifact or what we call a three-body scatter strike. So the radar beam is coming in, it's hitting those big hailstones inside there, especially if they're 1.5 or 2 inches, if they're golf ball sized hail. And so some of that is being directed down to the ground. Some of it, of course, goes back to the radar site. And then some of it shoots off and gives us this appearance that there may be a hook echo trying to form. But the circulation that we're seeing inside the cell is north of Athens, so certainly not there. Now that just tightened up a little bit. There could be a little bit of transition going on to where Maybe there is more of a rear flank developing in the storm, meaning that there are winds that are starting to descend through the thunderstorm and then being pushed out. At the same time, we'd want to see if we're going to get into a situation where we get a textbook hook echo. We'll have outflow from the front of the storm that would be ingested back in to the storm. Now, if it was daylight, we'd be able to see the tail cloud, we'd be able to see the anvil, and we'd have a whole lot of great things to look at and be able to dissect the storm, especially from Tyler looking to the west. Because it's dark, we don't have that advantage anymore. So we have to go off of what radar is showing us at this time. But Gun Barrel City, you are in the clear. However, if you live back to the north of Gun Barrel City, you do have a flash flood warning now to worry about. Berryville, you are in that polygon at this time. We have about 3.5 minutes to go on the Henderson portion of the tornado warning, and then we will wait and see what Shreveport decides if this cell is worth warning over into Smith County. They may go ahead and reissue a tornado warning until 10 p.m. for Henderson County just because of the slower movement of the storm. Last time we checked our Titan indicator, it had slowed down to fewer than 15 miles an hour. So that means either a couple of things are happening. The updrafts are getting stronger and it's starting to build upward vertically. If that happens, then of course the hailstones get bigger, but also what could happen is the storm could gust out, much like the one that occurred in Henderson and Smith County yesterday. Let's go back to velocity. Just want to double check that we don't have some kind, I didn't think so. It's close, but it looks like that, yeah, that was probably more of a, if you check on hail real quick here, we'll be able to show you what we're talking about when this hail core right here, and that has come down. That's back down to the nickel-sized hail. It was bigger than that toward Brownsboro. So if you live in Moore Station, you're going to get some hail that'll come in there, but likely that's what we were seeing, what we call an artifact. It's just a really almost a false echo. Sometimes it can trick the eye into thinking that you've got some sort of a hook echo going on inside a storm, when in reality it's just there's a lot of hail. And we've had a lot of hail in these storms here the last couple of days, and with all that hail that we've seen, it tells us that we have some pretty powerful thunderstorms also at this time. All right, we'll go back to reflectivity and look at the storm from that motion. And again, the lightning strikes are impressive. There were 400 to 500 in a 15-minute time frame just a few minutes ago, and that tells us a couple things. One, it's got tremendous amounts of ice inside it. So you've got negative and positive charges that are creating a channel for that lightning. And then two, you've got a lot of water inside of that storm. So it is likely raining very hard. Now there could be a situation if we had the circulation wrapped inside all of that rain, that it would be a rain-wrapped tornado, and it'd be very tough for a spotter, especially at night, to see this thing. So that's why we're also stressing, just go to your safe place. It's the safest thing to do. We're not trying to freak you out or anything. So right now it's radar indicated, nothing on the ground, but you need to take it seriously, and we need to just kind of be in that sheltered place. Moore Station, Athens almost out of the woods, not quite yet. Stay in your safe place. Brownsboro for sure, stay in your safe place. If not for the wind, for the hail itself, you do not want to try to venture outside or leave or go somewhere else because of the size of these hailstones here, which have been, again, in that quarter, they've dropped back off to nickel a little bit. The circulation is also sort of picked up in a different location. Let's go back to storm.
Can I jump in real fast?
Sure.
I got an update from the National Weather Service just now. They will not be continuing the tornado warning once it moves into Smith County, and that tornado warning in Henderson County will be allowed to expire in the next, it looks like, a minute or so, and it's just going to continue as a severe thunderstorm warning as it moves into Smith County. So we are looking at a lower rotation according to the National Weather Service from what they're just saying right now.
Okay, awesome. So go back to storm relative, and you go back to storm relative velocity there. So yeah, there's still a little bit there, but again, it looks like it's pretty broad and it's not as tight as it was. So that'll be what we'll do is we'll take a break, and it does look like they've dropped the tornado warning. So we're going to go back to regular programming. We're going to take a break, but we are going to stream for a little bit over on our CBS19.TV platform, and also what we'll do is we will stream on our Facebook page. So if you want to join us over there, if you got any questions, you can ask the questions over there. But for the time being, since this tornado warning has been allowed to expire, we're going to get ready to go back to regular programming. Sarah, let's go back to reflectivity. We're going to widen things out. I just need a big picture, make sure we don't have any other cells that we need to be particularly concerned of at this time. It looks like these are the big two, west of Palestine and the one coming into Smith County. And it's really sort of clustered with that one from Emory. So pretty big thunderstorm. Likely a lot of heavy rain will come with that. There were some forecast models that showed 2 to 3 inches of rainfall in a short period of time. So flash flooding would also be a general concern. So severe thunderstorm warning till 9:45. That's going to be for Smith County. And then we have the severe thunderstorm warning, I believe, just to the west of Anderson County. It might be Freestone, or I always forget which one is just to the west of us. Of Anderson County, that's going to be, yeah, Freestone. Freestone, Leon, just to the west here with that severe thunderstorm warning. It is interesting that they have put a tornado tag possible on that. So we may not get out of the evening without coming back on to tell you that we have another tornado warning moving into Anderson County. All right, so for now, we'll send it back to regular programming. Thanks for watching this special edition of our CBS19 weather experts covering severe weather here in East Texas. Hopefully we will not see you again until 10 o'clock. That would be really nice. That means we would not have any serious storms, but we will be streaming on CBS19.tv. Have a great weekend, everyone. Watching us here on CBS19.tv and our Facebook page. I'm just popping over onto the Facebook page in case there are any questions. We are tracking a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings, one here in Smith County. That's a rather larger storm. The size of that complex itself and the number of lightning strikes that we've seen here recently, quite impressive. We've talked about 400 to 500 lightning strikes inside that cell as it's moved out of Henderson County and continues to move over and closer to Smith County. So I'm going to go try to join up and find the Facebook feed that we're doing. And when I can find that, then I'll be able to answer any questions. So just remember that we have to break into programming when we have a tornado warning. It's sort of our obligation from the Federal Communications Commission. It's not because Sarah and I like to talk about weather, which we do, but we don't have to do that on TV. But we do have to do it especially when we have a tornado warning that's headed toward Smith County. And we don't know when they first issue that tornado warning, and we showed you some of the circulation on that storm. It was a stronger storm than what we've seen so far. I mean, we've had a few tornado warnings this year that, quite honestly, I've been on and I've been like, I don't know why we're on for a tornado warning right now. There is nothing that indicates there is a chance that this becomes a tornado. Tonight was a little different. It was a little different. It had some rotation there that was showing up, and it was a little stronger. It was a little tighter. It wasn't as broad as some of these tornado warnings that we've had in the past. So just given all of that, you know, that was one of those things. There was a little more concern on that cell as it approached, and especially after last night. Remember last night's storm, that tornado that they confirmed on the west side, on the Henderson County side of Lake Palestine, closer to Coffee City, that went across the lake. And there were several eyewitnesses that said they saw water spouts, which essentially might have been the tornado crossing the lake, and then it weakened and began to lift when it got onto the Smith County side. That tornado in itself, and I bring that up because it shows you how fast, that was a severe thunderstorm warned storm, but it just gives us an indication of how fast you can have a quick spin up. And that was in a really non-textbook place. That was on the western side or the back side of the storm. And so it could have been a combination of some descending winds through the thunderstorm, because we know we had some straight line winds as it went farther into Smith County, and it could have easily just found a way to spin itself up into a quick tornado. They said high EF1, high-end EF1, so closer to 110 miles an hour. Some of the wind damage that was equivalent with that. in the Lake Palestine Marina area, and also back to the west a little bit. I think it was the Briarwood Bay subdivision had that kind of damage. So yeah, we got lucky that nobody got more seriously hurt out in that area. So thankfully, that's all we had. We had a lot of damage, but we had no one died, no one was seriously hurt out of all of that. All right, so let me go back. I'm still trying, Sarah, to find yeah.
Read you some of the questions.
Yeah, you've got some questions.
Yeah, so we are asking for a track on the storm in Smith County. We're also getting questions about Nacogdoches County and specifically about the town of White House. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in.
Yeah, go ahead and track that from Smith County there.
Let me see.
The leading edge of that probably has some pretty good winds moving into Tyler right now.
Brett, what do you think that's moving at? Like 30 miles an hour?
They were saying if you look at the sweep, it says 30 miles an hour. It says east-southeast 30 miles an hour, but it's more east than southeast. That's the motion that these thunderstorms have been moving at all day. So
And it looks like our track does not want to go on real fast. Hold on, let me just clear this all out. Then we'll go ahead and throw it back on.
yeah, you might have to zoom out just a little bit. If you get into the bottom of that screen, you'll get into when we do Facebook Lives, it'll interfere with that. So you might have to, yeah, either pan it out a little bit or just zoom it up a little. Not zoom it up, but pan it up, I guess.
We'll zoom out a little bit.
Yeah.
At about 30 miles per hour to
yeah.
the southeast.
Yep, just following along with the polygon there.
Alrighty, so Tyler, that should get there, or the leading edge of the storm, I should say, should get there closer to 9:45. About 10 p.m. for Chapel Hill, Troop closer to 10:10, ARP closer to 10:30, Overton 10:45, and then out toward Henderson closer to 11:15. Now that's assuming that it continues to move at this exact same speed. These are just estimates. Of course, it could shift a little bit, but that'll give you a decent track for the storm that's moving through Smith County. Right now, you are under a severe thunderstorm warning if you're in Smith County. That means we're tracking very high wind gusts, at least 58 miles per hour or higher. Some gusty winds, lots of lightning out of this. Stay inside if you can. Right now, we do not have a tornado warning that has since expired, but we are still tracking that severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag. So keep up with the forecast because that means that a spin up could potentially happen as the storm moves through.
Yeah, so until 10:15 on that severe thunderstorm warning, and as you mentioned, White House here just to the south, so just about in there. I'm gonna change this and look outside here for a second. So if you need to do anything looking, there's the lightning show. Okay, so the lightning show is now arriving into the city of Tyler. Sarah just told you the thunderstorms themselves would be moving into Tyler here in about 6 minutes. So we're gonna get some very heavy rain, lightning, wind gusts again could exceed 58 miles an hour. They typically, radar indicated 58 miles an hour, and then they issue the severe thunderstorm warning. And that's not to say that we couldn't have some hail. We had some hail reports coming out of Henderson County that were in the order of at least some quarters, and then they got dropped back down to some nickel-sized hail. So it's interesting. We're not seeing a whole lot more lightning. There it goes. There we go. So now this is going to start lighting up for us on cue. And the reason, this storm again producing tremendous amounts of energy and electricity, 500 lightning bolts here. I think that we're popping up here in the last 15 minutes. That'd be about a half hour ago. That storm has not weakened at all. That was a great shot. I wish there was a way to hold that lightning and illuminate it, because you can see the anvil coming in. It's right here, or it's right there of that cell as it moves into, and it descends back down into the lowered base back here. So that was impressive. So you may have on that, we probably had a nice shelf cloud. If it was daylight, you'd have that gorgeous, like spaceship looking leading edge of the cloud itself. So that would be fantastic. But hopefully we'll get another illumination from the lightning here to see this again. So it starts out kind of higher in the sky, right? There it is. And then it goes back down toward the lowered base where the inflow notch is coming in here. So out here in front, you've got colder air being tossed from the thunderstorm, right? The colder air is heavier, it's more dense, so it sinks. Down below, there's all that moisture and humidity we had today. So that warm air is rising, and it's simply condensing into a cloud. So condensation is outpacing evaporation at that point. And as we go back further into the storm, of course, we get winds that come in, and then the rain is falling, and perhaps the hail is falling. And so all of that is pulling it down closer to the ground at a higher rate than what is happening out here ahead of that. So fascinating to look at. Love it when we can see this. If it was daylight, it would just be an absolutely gorgeous show for us for sure. So, all right, we'll go back to radar here and get you caught up on what we're seeing. Still, a couple severe thunderstorm warnings. We're going to have to break in a few minutes to get ready for the 10 o'clock news. But severe thunderstorm warning does continue till, I believe, 10 o'clock or maybe 10:15 for Smith County. And that does include the city of Tyler. And right now, Tyler's about to get into it. Sarah, can you look at how many lightning strikes we have here?
Yeah, I definitely can. Hold on, there we go. Lightning strikes in this cell. Let me see. Oh, wow. That's a lot. About 1,300 strikes.
Right?
Yes.
That's about one every second.
That is a very, very lightning-heavy storm. So again, you want to make sure that you are staying indoors as this continues to move over. I'm going to go ahead and just zoom back in really fast while we're still on. Remember, you do have that tornado, or I should say that severe thunderstorm warning in place. That's for areas in the yellow polygon. Lindale, Tyler, White House, out toward Winona and Browning. You guys are all under that warning, and it does have a tornado possible tag. That means that a tornado could form out of this storm, so make sure that you are staying up to date with us here on CBS 19, and of course keeping up with the forecast and the National Weather Service. If you have a NOAA weather radio and you haven't turned it on yet, make sure that you have it on at least in the background. We are seeing a very decent amount of hail out of this storm out toward Athens, toward Moore Station. I'm going to turn off the lightning real fast so we can get a better look at it. Lots of hail out of this. Oof, this looks like a very big hailer out toward Moore Station. That's where we're seeing hail, an estimated size of almost 2 inches, so about 1 3/4 inches. Lots and lots of hail out of this. Some gusty winds as well, so make sure that you are staying inside if you can. Again, we have this, the severe thunderstorm warning in place for Brownsboro, Mills, Martin, Athens, out toward Tyler and Lindale. If you take your eyes out to the south, just to the west of Palestine, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning. That's out toward Maheo right now, and it is not in East Texas, but this storm is moving into our area, so Palestine, Elkhart, Cayuga. Make sure that you are keeping an eye on the forecast because, again, that storm is going to move into your area here pretty quickly. Now, this, again, is just a severe thunderstorm, so gusty winds and some hail are the main threats out of this, but you want to make sure that you are staying inside. Okay, I'm getting some questions on Facebook. So for Brownsboro, if you guys are out of the tornado warning right now, yes, you guys are no longer in a tornado warning. You have that severe thunderstorm warning, and it looks like we just got a new severe thunderstorm warning. I'm going to click on that really fast. Alrighty, there it is, out toward Coffee City, Athens, and Tyler. So this is, it now includes parts of Cherokee County, so out toward Troop. It stops just to the north of Jacksonville, but still, if you are in Jacksonville, I think that you'll probably get a couple of gusty winds with that as well. Okay, going back to Facebook. We're asking about White House. White House, you guys are no longer in a tornado warning, but you are under a severe thunderstorm warning. It looks like you guys are just starting to get into the bulk of that storm system here. So stay inside. I recommend staying off of the roads until the storm passes by. Some gusty winds out there, as well as lots and lots of lightning and some hail. If your vehicle is inside, if you have a quick second to maybe move your vehicle into the garage, that'll help protect it from some of the hail damage. But again, we are not seeing any tornado warnings across our area right now. I'm going to flip back to velocity, which is how we can spot if there's a tornado on the ground or if there's any rotation. We're really just not seeing that. We're seeing very much just large, intense thunderstorms. We can even hear some of the thunder here at our CBS 19 studio. And just like Brett was saying, if you look outside on our sky cam, lots of lightning out there. It looks like it's not popping right now, at least in this direction over Broadway, but otherwise very intense storms out there. So make sure that you are keeping up with us here on CBS 19. I know that Brett will have more on the forecast at 10, and I'm going to toss it back to him real fast to see if there's any other updates.
Yeah, we just want to go back in, zoom back in and turn on the hail. Let's look at inside the hail cores there. So those bright blues, that's going to still be in that Moore Station area, so it hasn't even moved in to Smith County right now. And that corresponds with maybe quarter to half dollar sized hail. So that does qualify as a severe thunderstorm warning based on hail. And of course, the winds are likely going to be in that 55 to 60 mile an hour range. All right, so we got about 15 minutes until CBS 19 News at 10 o'clock. So we are going to wrap things up here. Appreciate meteorologist Sarah Blue rushing in here on a Friday night on her day off to help me out with this tornado coverage here. If you have any more questions, just keep posting those to Facebook. We'll try to answer those here before the top of the hour. Thanks for watching on our stream here at CBS19.tv and on our Facebook app. Have a great weekend, everyone. Hi everyone, CBS 19 Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony here again at our Weather Center with meteorologist Sarah Blue. In Tyler right now, we're getting reports, and we just heard it outside the TV station, the sirens are going off. We're not under a tornado warning, but the sirens are going off on Troop Highway down toward White House, and I believe Sarah also said Golden Road. There were sirens going off. Let's take a look at velocity inside the storm. We know we have some hail coming in. We know we're in a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado tag on it until 10:15. But at this time, if we look at storm relative velocity, and what we're doing is we're taking, again, the movement of the thunderstorm itself out. We don't see any rotation, but yes, the sirens are going off. So we're going to try to get that cleared up as to why the sirens have been sounded without a tornado warning. Sometimes when you can have straight line winds that would be considered catastrophic, greater than 80 mile an hour, they will issue what's called a wireless emergency alert, and storm sirens can be sounded for that. Not 100% sure why, but if you're hearing the tornado sirens in Tyler at this time, we do not see any rotation in the city that would suggest that there is a tornado imminent, and we do not have a tornado warning also. They do, again, have that severe thunderstorm warning, and those hatched areas say that a tornado is possible, meaning there was circulation with this cell as it was in Henderson County. As it's moved through Henderson County and has gotten closer to Smith County, the tornado warning that was in effect for Henderson County did not make it into Smith County. It was allowed to expire at 9:30, so that's been about 20 minutes from now. But I want to stay on to maybe calm any fears of folks hearing sirens going out there. Our newsroom is checking on the sirens. It may have been an error. Maybe someone spotted something, but until then, and Sarah, there's nothing in the chat room from the National Weather Service that suggests why the sirens are going off right now.
No, Brett, there are not. I am seeing reports on Facebook, on our Facebook Live that's going on simultaneously, that the sirens have stopped on Kidd by Bishop and Gorman. Those ones have just stopped, and there are no sirens going off in White House at the moment. But that's the only reports that I'm getting right now. No update from the National Weather Service on what's going on right now.
Okay, it's interesting that they were, and maybe it was in anticipation. Maybe someone did think they spotted something. I mean, there's a lot of lightning flashes that we've seen, and sometimes you could see rising scud into a cloud, and maybe they thought they saw a tornado or something like that. But if you look at radar, even the fact that we're compromised by being so far away from Shreveport and from Fort Worth, there's even at this 6,000 feet in the atmosphere, there's just no circulation inside that thunderstorm right now. It is hailing. In fact, if we can check out the hail, well, look at the hail cores inside that, you'll notice that those are not even in the city of Tyler. They're back here toward Moore Station and Coffee City and back toward Noonday. So, and that in the order is only in Nichols. So it's not even reaching severe limits at this time. Let's just go back to straight velocity, and maybe we can see if there's just a stronger wind gust out there. And there are, but again, it seems to be back on the Henderson County side and not so much here on the Smith County side. So interesting. All right, so we need to reset for the 10 o'clock news, and we can do that by just sending you guys back to programming. The sirens again have been turned off in Smith County. They were on momentarily, but they have, according to everybody that we've read on Facebook and from what we're hearing from the newsroom, they have been turned off. All right, so again, thanks for bearing with us. We're on with CBS 19 News here in about 8 minutes. We'll see you then.